again. Fancy seeing you here. Right, made myself a latte. Other videos uploading. Let's crack on with this. So on this page, I've fussy cut out this image here, and I'm going to use this part to make a belly band. Okay, so I'm going to add that to this page. Now what you need to remember is that with some of the images, not all of them, they don't always have to do, or sorry, they don't always have to stick to the page as you've cut them out. You could turn them round. So I could turn that one round and have it as a pocket that way. Or I could turn it round and have it as a pocket that way. Alright, so which one do I prefer? I think I'm going to do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to glue around 3 sides, and I'm going to put a little bit of a dot of glue on the end of that one to hold it in place, because it's a little bit on the flimsy side. And then position that on there, and done and dusted, and that's now ready for some journaling cards to go in that pocket. I'm going to use this as the belly band, and I'm going to fussy cut out that flower to stick it on top. So let's do that bit next. And again, I'm going to be keeping these pieces and the same on here to be able to use them as journaling cards. Let's just cut that top bit off there. I'm doing this one on the previous page. I just want to check the length. Yeah, so I need to cut just beyond that white edge. I'm going to ink this one up. And just glue it top and bottom. I'm going to just set it slightly off centre. And then I'm going to fussy cut around this flower. So I'm going to do the flower and 1, 2, 3 leaves. For those hard to reach places, I'm using a little eyeshadow makeup brush. To get into the little nooks and crannies. Just snip that little bit out. And then I can add that decoration on top of there. And then, as I say, I can utilise these parts so I'm not going to throw them away. That's one. Get the other one. So I could add them on this side and add them so that they become flips. So there and there. Or I could make them into journaling cards and then tuck them underneath there, and because the pattern's the same, you know, it can look quite pretty. So put you that way around, you know, so maybe like that. There we go. And then we've got another one done. Now with this page, it's near the front of the journal. So if you remember a while back now, but I cut out this flower here to make it into a tuck spot, and I've got this page left over. So I'm going to make this a flip out, but I'm going to make it a flip out pocket. All right, so what I'm going to do is just cut along the border there. I just want to check. Yeah, I think I might have to cut off some of the flowers a little bit. Yeah, okay. There we go. And I'm going to stick it onto the back of this. So, trim off this bit. And that bit. I'm going to glue it to this bottom right hand corner. So I'm going to glue it round 3 sides. It's as wonky as a donkey's hind leg. And that's going to stick down there. And then I can trim off the excess. Alright, there we go. So I've left where the edge of this is, there's a gap between the edge of the page and the edge of this pocket, because I want to put the tape on it. So again, I only need to do it with a small edge showing of the sellotape. So the majority of it will be on the paper. It's great, this tape, because look, you can't tell it's there, can you? Oh, trim off my tops and bottoms. And then I can flip that open and add tape on this side. Circle punch to make a bit of a thumb hole. And just ink up that edge. Okay, still laying flat. Getting a little bit bulkier, but still laying flat. And then that does that. Okay, that's that one done. Next! Now this one is not my favourite page. It was a very old image that I got from an old book. So it didn't print as clearly as I would have liked, but it still has a lovely effect to it, but it's not my favourite. So what I thought about doing was, I've got a piece of vellum and I'm going to cut out 2 strips, one for each side, and I'm going to cut it out as 2 because I don't want it to bunch up where the fold is. So if I do it as 2 separate pieces and get it to roughly meet in the middle, then it should work quite well. So I need to cut 2 strips. So let's just quickly do a measure. Okay, 2 inches, 4 inches, yep, that's fine. So a 2-inch strip should do me fine. In fact, I'm going to do it to 2 1/4 because I want to put a bit of an edge on the edge of the vellum pocket. So there's 1, 2 1/4, and another one. Now I could use one of my punches, but I can't be bothered. I'm a lazy monkey, you know. So I'm just going to use my scissors because these are to hand. And it saves me searching for the punch that I want. So that will stick there. Right, so we want glue on 3 sides. Now I could have embossed this vellum as well, and that would have been pretty. So I'm just folding the page up so that I can find the positioning of it. As I say, I don't want it to bunch up when the page is turned. I'll do it that way. And do this other one. And again, I'm just going to pick up the page so that I can slide that in place. There will be a bit of a gap, but I could put some washi tape over that. So there's a tiny bit of a gap just there. But I might end up putting a little bit of washi tape over there. And then that covers up that little gap. But at least now when I close those, it's not bunching up in the middle, because it doesn't look very nice when you bunch it up. Now I'm going to go on to this one. Which is this page here. Ideally, this would be better printed onto a thin bit of card. Unfortunately, my printer's getting a little bit on the old side and it's not accepting card at the moment. So I've put it on the thickest paper that I can, and I'm going to fussy cut around this shape here. All right, so I'm going to go off and do that and then I'll be back. So I've cut that out. Actually, that would look really pretty on the front cover as well. But I want to cut out now this middle bit to make a window. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my videos, you will have seen that I did a Temu, I don't know how you pronounce it, video a while back. And I got these pens, and they're special pens because it's got a little blade on the end. Now I've only used it once before, so I'm no expert on using it, but I'm going to use it to cut out the inner shape here. Now if you haven't got one of these, you could just poke a hole in the middle, snip up to an edge, an edge, an edge and an edge, and then use some finer scissors to cut around the outer shape. Okay, but for this one we're going to attempt, and my eyesight's not good enough to see the blade. I can see that there's an angle there, so let's try this and see how well it works. Ooh, I'm going off at an angle there. Hang on a minute. Move you out the way. And I think it's a blade that you would need to keep turning either the blade or the paper. And I'm doing it slowly so that I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think that this is the best way, is to keep turning the paper and keep the blade the same. The thing is, I guess that if I don't get it quite right, I can go in with a pair of scissors afterwards. Keep my pen like that, Carol. Twiddle that round. A bit skew if there. I'll have to cut that bit again. I mean, look, it's come out easy enough, so it's cut through the paper really well. Oh, I'm quite impressed with this. Me likey. Just do a little bit of touching up. I need to trim a little bit more off there. Oh, I've lost my angle. Let's try that. Yeah, I think that's cut that out really well. Ooh, my new toy. Okay, ink up the inside edge of that. Now I've got a little plastic wallet here, so I'm going to cut this up, but you could use a piece of perspex or, you know, a bit of old packaging. And I'm going to add this as my window on the back side. So I'm going to glue that down. Oh, hang on, I've just noticed a little diddly-do there. Take you off. I'm going to put glue around the outside edge of the bit that I've just cut out. And I'm just placing it over and below the edge of that plastic, so I've only got to cut off a little bit. Now when I come to glue this in place, I'm going to place glue down this side and this side so that this is left open to put the picture in, alright? But if I put the picture in, one of the things that I've got to be careful of is that this bit of plastic here is loose. So what I want to do is I want to put some micropore on that edge to prevent that plastic from lifting up and off as I'm putting the photograph in. And I'm going to just do the same across the top. Again, just to make sure that I don't catch it. Oh, too far across, Carol. Okay, and then I can put glue down this side and the bottom. And I'm just putting the glue on the paper, not on the plastic bit. Make sure that your plastic's clean as well before you actually stick it in place. So there's going to be nothing worse than having fingerprints on it. Okay, now this is the fiddly bit because I need to get it in the right place so that it sits on top of what's already there. And then that will then slot in there. Now the other half of this page, which was this piece, I'm going to make it again into a pocket like I'd just done with that fold out one, that fold out pocket. I'm going to do the same with this piece, but I'm going to do that off camera because you don't need to see me doing that again. And then the last thing that I want to do is on this page here, right at the very beginning, we printed out this page, excuse me, and we only used one half on the front cover, so I'm left with this half here. And so I'm going to cut it out. And this is the one that's printed on the back. So I'm going to fold it into 3. So that it forms almost like an envelope. I'm going to stick it down there and glue around 3 sides on the back to form a pocket, but I'm going to ink up the pages first. So that's that piece now all inked up, and I've cut 2 tiny strips of paper here from some of the scrappy leftover pieces. Measures about, oh hang on, that's centimetres, just over 1/2 inch wide by 3 inches long, and this one is 2.5 inches long, and I've just rounded the corners on this one, just on the one end. Alright, so what I'm going to do is poking me some holes. Same on the other side. About there. And put some brads in. Now my brads just fit the width of that, but I'm going to trim off a little bit of the excess of that. And I've got a really old pair of scissors that I use just purely for this, because it would blunt my scissors like nobody's business. Don't know where that went. There it is. Bit of spit. Classy bird me, you know. And then I'm going to push that down on the front to just flatten it out a little bit. Don't want to push too hard because I'll flatten the top part of the brad itself. I've lost my other brad now. There it is. Okay, and again, open up those prongs. And I'm going to use glossy accents to stick this one in place, because the other glues are not strong enough to go over the metal. I'm just going to put that off to the side for a minute. Just let that glue take a little. And then on this piece, I'm going to add this on underneath this flap. So it'll go across like that. Right? So only want a little bit of glue on the end. On the square end, not the rounded end. So it wants to go back there. And then I can glue that in place around 3 sides. And that can go quite close to the fold, but not right on top of it. And then I can put my little bar over the top. And that now holds that in place, and then I can open that up, and I've got this space to write on, and I've also got a pocket in there as well. So that's the bits and pieces that I'm going to show you. Obviously you can do as many as you want, of which type that you want, but those are the ones that obviously I've now done in my journal. So we'll do a bit of a quick flip through. So I'm going to be using seam binding for my closure, so I'll need to make a hole on the back, which I'll do off screen because I'm not very good at putting the eyelets in, and I'm sure you don't want to hear the swear words that come out of my mouth when I mess it up. So let's have a flip through so far. So we've got that little flip out there. We've got our double pocket here. We've got our flip out here and a pocket there. We've got our double tucks underneath the doily and the cutouts there. We've got this that we've just made. So that slots in there. Little tuck pocket there. I used up part of the papers that I talked about earlier as a bit of decoration on that page. I've got my belly band there. Got a pocket there. The double vellum pocket there. And my photo picture there. And then, as I say, I'm going to do that as a flip out for that side. So we've achieved quite a lot this morning already. Okay, I'm going to go and get some lunch because I haven't eaten yet, and I'll see you back here later on today where I'm going to introduce the new digital kit, which I'm going to use as some of the embellishments for inside of here. So the next one will be embellishments. So I'll see you really soon. Bye for now, and thanks ever so much for joining me. Bye.